Today, Donald Trump held a religion-based town hall where he spent the whole time trying to provoke and scare religious Americans into voting for him. That's right, Trump has given up on trying to actually sell any real policy and just wants to scare them so they vote for him. Now, he was invited to this rally specifically to speak about religion, and he would eventually get to that, but first, he started off his day in front of voters by telling them that they all need to be scared of being killed by immigrant murderers.
And the biggest problem to me is the border, where they allow murderers into our country, they allow prisoners into our country, they empty out their prisons from all over the world. And to me, it's the biggest problem that we have. I think it's the number one thing, and we're going to do something. We're going to do something to stop it very quickly. We built hundreds of miles of wall.
The scare tactics only continued from there, touching on terrorism, war in the Middle East, and even talking about how dangerous the United States is after Trump's assassination attempt. And then after all that, he finally decided to start touching on religion. But instead of supporting religious voters, Trump complained about them to their faces. He claims that the Republicans don't win enough because too many Christian voters don't bother to show up and that the country is falling apart because of them.
Just recently, a study came out from Arizona Christian University showing that 32 million Christian Americans will not be going to the polls to vote this year. If you could share a final message to those Christians to encourage them to go to the polls, what would your message be?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Matthew, that if you look over the last 30 years or so, for whatever reason, Christians are not tremendous voters in terms of percentage. If they were, we'd never lose an election. We wouldn't have had these people in office, and we would never lose an election. And I think they are. I think we've really energized a lot of people this time because they've seen how bad it is. This last 4 years it's been a horror show, an absolute horror show. And I think we're going to see those numbers go way up. I'm almost sure of it, and I'm even hearing that from statistically because you see what's coming in. And by the way, record numbers of votes are coming in, so that's supposed to be a good thing for us. And we have to make sure too big to rig. We want to make it too big to rig, right? But if they did, we would literally never lose an election. And you know, there's persecution going on, and especially, I don't know if you've heard, with Catholics. I don't know what's going on with Catholics. Why are they after Catholics? But the Catholics are being persecuted. School boards are being persecuted. Parents. This group is not a nice group of people. You know, you think they're stupid, and they are really pretty dumb. But when you look at what the policies, what they've done to this country, but they're vicious people. They're vicious, vicious people. And people are being persecuted, people of religion. And you saw it a little bit during COVID, where you'd have a service outside, everybody's 5 yards away and everything, and they're coming and arresting people. It's very bad. But I think you're going to see a big change. I think you're going to see it now, and hopefully we're going to keep it going. You know, without religion, it's like the glue that holds it all together. This would be a different country. The religion and all of it, virtually all of them, are going, if you look at a path, wasn't helped by COVID, by the way. When you had COVID, all of a sudden, people started thinking a little bit differently, and they, you know, got used to a different way of life for a long period of time, and maybe it didn't quite come back. But it's going this way. If we ever had it going up, it would, and I think we're going to get it up. I really believe it. I think this election is important for even that reason, for everything. It's so important, but it's such a good question.
Trump blames all Christians for his electoral problems, and then tells Catholics that they are being persecuted and their values will be abandoned by the nation if they don't support him. Scaring your voters and blaming them for not supporting you enough is honestly one of the most depressing ways to campaign. This is a shameful new campaign strategy, but we must not let it cover up the fact that Donald Trump has no real policy to sell you. He has no plan for the future and only wants to scare people into voting. But if you plan on voting for the candidate with a hopeful message and a policy plan for the future, then be sure to leave a like and comment below. And as always, be sure to subscribe to help support the channel.